Esports Arena, powered by DSE Hawaii, on the Hawaii Pacific University campus at Aloha Tower Marketplace. Here's your host, Hawaii Pacific University's Vice President and Chief Marketing Communications Officer, Jeffrey Rich.
Aloha, Sharks Nation. We are back for another show on this beautiful Thursday morning. We are broadcasting live from the beautiful campus of Hawaii Pacific University from the Esports Arena, powered by DSE Hawaii. I am your host, Jeff Rich, and today we are talking men's basketball with head coach Jesse Nakanishi. And we've got two fantastic players with us today, junior guard Diggy Winbush and sophomore guard Melo Sanchez. Welcome, everybody. We'll do formal intros and get the conversation started here in a minute, but I wanted to first introduce, as always, our in-studio sidekicks, HPU Sports Information Director, Mr. Marcus DeWall, and our in-studio producer, Mr. Paul Brecht. Gentlemen, how has the week been treating you since we last got together last Thursday?
It's been pretty good. Got to turn 24 this past Monday. So.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. So getting up there in age.
A little clap going here.
And so, I mean, technically I'd still be a sophomore, so I'm not NCAA old yet. So still pretty young. But.
Well, did you do anything special for your birthday? Did you get out and enjoy anything special?
Went out and enjoyed Waikiki as much as you can. But
how can you not enjoy
Waikiki?
Yeah,
and so I went out there and just spent some time with some friends, but pretty low-key.
Nice. Paul, how about you? Anything fun happening over the weekend?
I'm still trying to get over it. That was a good joke from Marcus, and even with the laugh, I feel like we didn't give it enough attention. That was really funny, especially considering somebody announced their 9th year of college. You know, they're coming back for their 9th year of college football.
Oh, but I would literally I still have like 2 years of eligibility.
Exactly. I was going to say, you could straight up continue to play into your 30s at this point. No, overall has been solid for me. I got a chance to take in the boys taking down Dominican last week, and then after that, preparing for what has been a busy week thus far and an even busier weekend ahead. Obviously, HPU taking on Chaminade at Chaminade tonight, Hilo this weekend, and plenty of other sports around the island to take in as well. So I said it last time, I'm starting to become a broken record, but no rest for the weary. It's how it's supposed to go.
Yep. You're supposed to be out and in the field and checking all the happenings around the island with all the great sporting activities. Paul, you mentioned the success that the team is having, and before we get going with our conversations with the coach and our two teammates here, just a little recap. So you guys are 6-2 at home this year. As Paul mentioned, you just beat Dominican, swept Dominican. You beat number 9 San Bernardino, so things are starting to gel. We've got the leading scorer with us in studio today, Melo. Let me formally introduce our in-studio guest. So first, in his inaugural season as HPU's men's head basketball coach, taking the reins fully this year from Coach V, let me welcome Mr. Jesse Nakanishi. Welcome, Jesse.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We are glad to have you here today. And you brought two of your outstanding players with us. We've got 6'4" sophomore guard Melo Sanchez, hailing from San Diego. Melo, welcome. And Mr. Diggy Winbush. Diggy, you are a 6'1" junior. You're from L.A., and Melo, you're from San Diego, so you guys are both California natives. What brought you to Hawaii? What got Hawaii on your radar and got you interested in coming to HPU? Melo, maybe tell us a bit about your history and what brought you here.
So my final year of high school was when COVID first started, right? So my recruitment wasn't all there, so I decided to go a prep year up in Los Angeles. And when I was playing my games up in Los Angeles, Coach Nakanishi reached out to one of my coaches, and I was surprised because at the time barely any coaches were hitting me up. So I was very interested right away when my coach told me that Coach Nakanishi had reached out to my coach, and ever since then we were in contact. And then when I came out here for my visit, honestly, like right when I landed and the coaches were there to pick me up and we were talking, I felt like the immediate connection between one of us. And I felt it even more once I headed to the gym and I met the guys. They were working out. So ever since that moment, I felt the brotherhood, and I felt this was the spot for me. So
and this is your second year, sophomore.
Yes, sir.
So big leap, you think, from your freshman year? Do you feel more comfortable?
Yeah, for sure. Last year, I feel like the beginning I was trying to fit in, gel in with the guys. But then this year, I felt like I had to take on the leadership role and be more of a leader and speak out more and call guys out more and hold myself accountable. So
wow, well, it seems like you've done that. Let's see, you started all 28 games last season as a freshman, leading the Sharks in minutes with 964, three-pointers made, and field goal percentage with three-pointers at 468. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Appreciate it.
Wow. Well, way to go. Well, Diggy, you're with us as well. Welcome. Let's see, you came to us from Shabbat College before.
Chabot.
Chabot, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Chabot College, and then originally Taft High School. Tell us, what's it been like here for your Hawaii experience and playing for HPU?
It's been a blessing. Coach has given me the opportunity to come to Hawaii for the first time in my life. Never been here. Like you said, I went to JUCO after my high school. I went to a prep school in Kentucky. Then COVID year happened, and it kind of a little setback. So I went to JUCO, and this past summer, didn't know where I was going to go. I had a lot of schools. And then last minute, Coach Jesse called me and said, "Hey, we want you," and it was a blessing, and I appreciate him for that. And it was real last minute. I didn't have a chance to visit here, but I liked Coach's pitch, and I was intrigued, and I was happy. And,
now, were you in the transfer portal? Is that how you got connected, or was there?
No.
Okay.
Coach, was it Coach Keenan?
Transfer portal is Division I, but he was graduating from his junior college.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Gotcha. So, beaches, LA compared to Hawaii, what do you think?
I'm not a beach guy, but I give it to out here. The beaches out here are amazing. How can you not love it out here?
I know. What can you say that's possibly negative about it? Wow. Well, you guys are having a pretty successful season here as you get rolling. What's the team vibe feeling like? As we mentioned, you're coming off some strong performances. You got Chaminade coming up tonight.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's in a good headspace. We're just trying to follow the game plan. Everyone's together. We feel unified, and we trust in what the coaches are prepared us to do. And
yeah. Coach, so you're in your first season. You've been with HPU, I think, 6 seasons as assistant, give or take a season or two. But what's different? What philosophy have you brought that is evolving the team? How are things maybe different from when Coach V was at the reins? But give us a little taste of your philosophy and some of the strengths and weaknesses that you see with the team and where you're trying to go.
Good question. I think Coach V was my mentor, and I learned a lot from in my first 6-year stint with them, and then another 2 years prior to this year. So carrying on some of those characteristics and attributes that I feel impact winning, we kind of carried on, and then adding to that stuff that I've gained along the way at different stops as well. That again, to me, we're only going to make important what impacts winning and what impacts togetherness of a team. So we've kind of added some of those things in, but really toughness and like Diggy mentioned, being unified and just that togetherness. So we try to do small things here and there that really build culture, and sometimes that doesn't happen overnight. I'm really proud of these guys buying in and into a lot of those things. We're nowhere near a final product and where our culture needs to be, and it's an ongoing process, as they say. And we're working at it and building it, and we're going to reap the benefits sooner than later, and we're reaping some of it now, but there's a lot more to come.
Yep. Now, you mentioned culture, being such an important part, and you inherited a pretty strong culture under Coach V, and clearly you're evolving it, and you guys are dealing with some adversity right now. I know, and that can bring a team together. But tell us a bit about some of the challenges that you're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, honestly, this has been one of the tougher ones I've faced in my 24 years of coaching. It's kind of big news in the basketball world, but one of our players' father, that coaches for the Golden State Warriors, our student athlete Nicola, his dad passed away from a massive heart attack, and it just was so sudden, and really affected our team, our staff, myself included. He was young. He was 46 years old, same age as me, and just the impact that he's had, and we're all reading about it in the news. We knew he was a legendary coach back home in Serbia, and then coaching Jokic and all these guys that are big-time NBA players, and now he's with the Warriors and won championship in his first year there. But more so than the impact he's had on the game of basketball across the world is just you're reading about all the relationship stories that he's touched so many lives, and his ability to keep things in perspective, and he's always smiling and making sure people are approaching the game and their work ethic the right way. It's just and I've got to meet him a bunch of times, and he's like such a legend, but he's so humble. That's the first thing that came across to me was how humble this guy is, reaching out to me that whatever help you need as a first year head coach, reach out, and just super humble, and I appreciate that about him. But yeah, back to our guys, like, you know, we met yesterday and it's definitely shaken us, but you know, we're trying to learn and grow from it and kind of open it up to them, and they wanted to keep going, and we had a great practice yesterday after that meeting, and they wanted to play the game tonight for Nikola and his family, and continue on just playing for him. But yeah, it's definitely something that we're dealing with and getting through. But man, they're not kids, but kids are so resilient. I'm so proud of them. Like yesterday, just being able to talk through all that and then go out there and let me yell at them at practice. Like, you know, it's such a trivial thing. I talked to them about, you know, being your gaps and, you know, all of that, but just keeping things in perspective, and they're able to do that.
Well, our thoughts are with Nikola and his family, and just sending good energy their way. You know, and this kind of thing can bring a team together. It can be an unfortunate rally point, but it certainly can bring people into a common place and really create a sense of unity that can really create a bond that lasts forever. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute. We're talking men's basketball. I'm your host, Jeff Rich. You're listening to Sharks Weekly, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
And we are back. You are listening to Sharks Weekly. I'm your host, Jeff Rich, and we are talking HPU men's basketball today. So guys, let's get into the season. Let's talk about you know, where you're at. As we were mentioning in the opening segment, some strong performances here early, especially at home. You've got a big game against perennial rival Chaminade. What's the mentality going into that game? How are you guys feeling?
Honestly, I feel like we're very motivated, especially with us playing for Nikola tonight. I think that's adding extra motivation, but honestly, even before the whole Nikola situation, we were motivated before, just because it's a rivalry. Rivalries are supposed to be close games and it's supposed to be chippy and dirty and all that, but we're ready and we're motivated for tonight, so we're excited.
Yep. Diggy, what are you thinking? How you feeling?
Yeah, I agree with Melo, and but coach's staff has prepared us to take every game treated the same. Don't take anything for granted in our approach, and I feel like we're ready.
So, Coach, that's a philosophy that a lot of teams have success with, is really, you know, you've got a big game that normally might create some anxiety and tension, but really it sounds like you're trying to create sort of a mellow feel, to kind of create just a sense of comfort heading into the game.
Yeah, we're big in role playing, and everyone, you know, performing their roles to the best of their ability, and we don't need anything more and anything less. You just do your job, and that's going to be the same thing today. Tonight, I should say. But yeah, we're excited about it. You know, they're going to get our best effort. I'm sure we're going to get theirs. They've had a little bit of rough go, a lot of close games. They're one of those teams with a lot of firepower that can beat anybody or also lose to anybody, and they've had the ball not bounce their way a little bit this year, but they're super capable and very talented team.
Yeah, well, we talked quite a bit about Chaminade last week. We had Coach Tim Dunham, assistant coach with the women's team, on, who was a part of that amazing team that beat Virginia. We were talking about the time he got to dunk on Ralph Sampson. Do you guys know who Ralph Sampson is? All right. Because we talk about some of these old-time players, and I keep forgetting these are guys that played, 20 years before some of you guys were born. But man, that was something. But always special juice against Chaminade. I'm sure you're gonna be up for the game tonight. But I like the philosophy of heading in, and kind of like it's just another game, right? And not creating that tension and anxiety. What's the philosophy of the team? Melo, you nailed these 3-pointers, so you guys are obviously a good shooting team from the perimeter. You've got some height on the team this year, to say the least. What's the strength, though? Is it the inside game? Is it inside out? But how would you characterize the team's strengths and weaknesses?
I mean, obviously, I'm pretty good with my 3-pointers. Diggy is good with his ball handling, but I think the core strength for our team is that we all play for one another. It's not one night, like let's say I'm doing good and Diggy's not doing as good. Diggy's not going to be hating on me. He's going to be motivating me and like cheering me on. And let's say it goes the other way, I want to be cheering Diggy on. So I feel like us playing for one another is our biggest strength. And I think that brings us closer and makes us a better team. Wow,
and what a absolutely mature thing to say. And recognizing as a team sport, you're in it for each other. It's not an individual sport, so that's a fantastic philosophy. Diggy, what are you thinking, and how do you view the dynamics of the team and the strengths and the weaknesses as the ball handler?
Yeah, like Melo said, we're together, and just to piggyback off of him is. We have like a sort of next man up mentality, so I feel like we have a lot of guys who any night it can be their night, and coaches almost instilled that into us, the next man mentality. We have a lot of group of guys who are capable any night of stepping up. We've had guys go down, injuries, all of a sudden, and everyone's doing a good job in their role.
Yeah, and that makes it awful tough on the other team if you guys approach it like a team and it's not one player dominating, feeding the big man in the middle or kicking it out for a 3-pointer, but correct. you can kill him from any point on the court. Yeah, that's going to make for a strong season. So you got some big games coming up here. As we mentioned, you got Chaminade tonight, Hilo on Saturday, and then Tuesday, Azusa Pacific. So you've got some strong competition coming up. What do you when you think about team chemistry and bonding and what, Jesse, have been some of the things that you've learned through your coaching career that create more of those connections both on and off the court?
Yeah, that's good. We try to create opportunities, especially in the preseason time, to for them to build relationships with each other and the coaches to build relationships as well. So just trying to create different opportunities for that to happen. We did a little retreat. We do a lot of community services, and those are win-wins because we get to spend time with each other off the court and give back at the same time. And a lot of those kids come to the games as well. So just try to get creative in different ways to try to build relationships, because that's what it's really about.
So you try and create some formal team activities that are off the court to create those bonding experiences. Diggy and Melo, what about the team itself? Do you guys go off and do things as a team that aren't sponsored or sanctioned by the coach or but how do you create that camaraderie and chemistry with each other when you're not in a more of an official practice or a situation that the coaches have set up for you?
Oh yeah, off the court, we're like real family oriented. We schedule twice a week. We all get together and do a team, not even a team activity. We'll either go to the beach or go out to eat. Some guys that come to our house, we'll go to theirs. We're always doing something together for sure.
Nice. Favorite beach spot that you guys hit?
For me, as North Shore.
North Shore?
The Big Rock, yeah.
Right, man.
I like Queens.
Queens Beach? Okay.
Queens Beach for me. But, yeah. I mean, like, me and Diggy, we live 5 minutes away from each other. So, sometimes I go over to his house and just play 2K, or he comes over to my house and play Madden. So, just those little things, I feel like it goes a long way. So, we try to hang out as much as possible.
Nice.
These two aren't big beach guys, but
no?
they're fine.
No, for me,
you gotta take me a point.
Whenever I go to the beach, the first 5 minutes I start sweating like I do in the basketball games.
Oh, you're kidding.
So it's pretty bad for me.
Wow. So no attempted surfing or anything like that?
We'll get in the water, but it's not nothing crazy.
The time when I came out for my visit,
I was going to bring that up, man.
Coach Mark and I, we went paddle boarding. And at first it was a struggle, but then after the next 5-10 minutes I got the hang of it, so it was pretty good.
Where did you go? Paddleboarding.
Ala Moana.
It's a nice.
It was
calm
very
beach.
flat
Yeah.
inside. I took him and his dad paddleboarding, and I almost rescinded the offer. He was so unathletic.
You say, man, this kid's got no balance, huh?
At first, but then after a while, I got the hang of it. It was pretty good. So it was fun, though. It was fun. I had a good experience.
Yeah,
good time. That's
one of my favorite things to do, and you'll catch me down at Ala Moana on the board with my dog pretty often.
Cool.
Very nice beach to hit. Some shark scares recently down there, though. I was saying, I think on a prior show, it was one of the first times I've ever seen people in Hawaii afraid to go out past a certain point. There was just a line where nobody went further out there. But it's one of the life's risks, right? If you're going to live in paradise, you got to accept some risk. So what's the favorite team bonding activity, though? Is it the group dinners? Is it, and when you guys go out, what are some of the other things that you like to do? Places that you frequent?
Oof, I think it's probably the most boring answer, but I think the most favorite team activity we do is go to the beach. I think just playing spike ball, going in the water together, jumping off the rocks. That's the most fun for us. But anything else? I mean, we go eat, the beach, and that's about it, honestly. I mean, I don't know anything else to do here as a group. But
we're on the college dollar.
Yeah,
there you
exactly.
go.
We're not big ballers like that, so we're just trying to save our money. But the beach and food, I would say those two.
And team dinners at what pasta dinners? What's the menu?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
We haven't had a crab boil. Yeah, I'm surprised about that. Yeah.
Crap boy.
We gotta get that in.
There you go. I was going to ask too. We were talking earlier. You guys both have nicknames. Is there a story behind it? Diggy, maybe tell us first. Where did Diggy come from?
So when I was younger, my mom, she said she gave it to me, and my dad convinces me that he gave it to me, but I don't know who really did. So I just give both of them the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, you guys.
But did they say what the inspiration?
It was like
for
a
Diggy
song,
was?
I believe. I'm not sure what song it is, but it was like in the song, and it just kind of diggy, and it just stuck.
Diggy, can't
Paul, do we have a researcher that can?
I'm gonna have to look up why, but I know you said you don't know who gave it to you for real. Do you have a gut feeling? Who actually, who's lying? Out of your parents, which one is more likely to be like, oh, the fifth?
I'm going to go with Coach.
See, that's a good coach right there.
Not trying to get in trouble.
That's media training
Good answer.
101.
Good answer. Well coached, Coach. Good to step in. All right, Melo, that is a great nickname. What's the story behind it?
So my actual name is Emilio, right?
Okay.
But then when I was like 6-7 years old, I was playing at the YMCA, and then I did this one move. I did a fadeaway, right? And when I did that fadeaway, some random dude was like, that looked like Melo, Carmelo Anthony. And when he said Melo, ever since then, it just stuck with me, and I've been calling myself Melo, and other people have been calling me Melo.
Now, how long ago was that?
I've been called Melo for a while now.
Okay,
I would say
so back like high school days or before?
It started trending like high school days. Like when I first entered high school is when like people started calling me Melo more frequently and all that. So I would say high school days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it has a nice mellow vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it creates a sense of calmness. All right, we are going to take another break. You are listening to Sharks Weekly. We're talking men's basketball. I'm your host, Jeff Rich, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
And we're back, broadcasting live on the beautiful campus of Hawaii Pacific University. We are here at the Esports Arena, powered by DSE Hawaii. And just a reminder that Sharks Weekly is brought to you by Kawazoi. Kawazoi Group is a proud sponsor of Hawaii Pacific University men's basketball, and by Waiea Water. Don't leave the quality of your drinking water and your health to chance. Waiea Water's atmospheric water generators create clean, pure, eco-friendly drinking water right from the air. So thank you to our amazing sponsors. Hey, and before we get back to talking some basketball, I want to bring Marcus into the conversation. Marcus, you are HPU Sports Information Director, so you are the man who is all over the place, seeing what's happening, what's going on. Give us a little recap of what's happened with HPU Sports over the last week.
Yeah, so aside from basketball, all the sports are, getting ready to get started for the spring semester, and so my job right now is basically being an air traffic controller and trying to get everyone off the runway. But, we have tennis. They're gearing up for their season opener against Sacramento State tomorrow. And then we have softball and baseball having their alumni games this Friday and then next Saturday. And so it's going to be fun time both stadiums. Got to go to the softball stadium for the first time this past weekend. It's a beautiful stadium. Really enjoyed my time there. And yeah, for basketball, it's been really fun. The Pac West, it's so weird and so crazy. Just if you look at the preseason standings and rankings for men's and women's, and just see how like shaken up it is in the middle of the season, it's pretty crazy to see, you know, who people thought were going to be up there and where people aren't. And so and for our men's basketball team, you know, it's been a real special treat to watch them and follow them this season. I got to go with them this past trip to the Bay Area, and it was really cool to see the support that Diggy and Josh got from their JUCOs, Aloni and Chabot, and they came out for the Academy of Art game. And you know, growing up in the Bay Area, that was really cool to see. You know, growing up, went to a lot of Chabot games, and so really cool to see like the staff out there and see them support Diggy. And yeah, and this past Tuesday, we had a men's basketball at a clinic at Manoa Elementary, and so got to go pull up and you know document that. And I think that's what's really special about this team is that you know, like they're off to an amazing start. You know, they're 9-5 right now, and hopefully 10-5 in a couple more hours. And so, but I think the biggest thing I'm impressed about this team is that you know, being around sports, you know, for a while now, you can tell when there are teams where it's you know, they're like coworkers. You know, they happen to be on the same team, but there's not really that bond or that buy-in for each other. But I mean, even just like the short amounts of times I get to spend with this team, you can tell that they generally do care about each other, and then they most importantly like generally care about their community. And it's really cool to see. You know, like you know, my parents, you know, they work in education. My dad, you know, works in you know probation. You know, deals with a lot of like, you know, troubled youth and stuff like that. And so I think it's really important. I really like respect Jesse and his team for, you know, taking time out of their day. 'Cause I mean, it takes a lot to be with the hundreds of elementary school students at once. It's not an easy task, and so, you know, a lot of these kids, you don't know what they're all going through, but sometimes, you know, like, you know, Diggy saying "I'm proud of you" is probably like could be like the one time in the week they get, you know, like positive feedback from like a male role model. And so I think that's like I really respect that like about our men's team, and I think it's really just an important value they have there.
How did that feel, Melo and Diggy, when you guys visited an elementary school? You got to meet some young players. You know, what was the feeling that you came away with from that experience?
Honestly, it just brought me back to my elementary days. Just reminded me how I was when I was 6-7 years old. And for me, as a 21-year-old right now, me seeing the kids smile and putting a smile on their faces is honestly everything I can ask for. It just makes my day better, and yeah.
Very nice. How about you, Diggy?
Yeah, it was a blessing for me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it last semester due to class, but going up there was fun for me. Seeing kids, helping them, and it was a good opportunity. Like Melo said, it brings you back of how you were, and it's like, you know, you never know what the kids are going through nowadays, and I just want to uplift them, and I feel like it's our purpose, and this is what we're here for, is to help and lead and serve people.
Yeah, and you know, and so much to be said for, you know, being a role model for young people. I don't think they have a lot of really good role models these days, given the state of a lot of things. So, you know, clearly, Jesse, that's a priority for you guys, and I'm sure you take a lot of pride in modeling good behavior and trying to help kids emulate success.
Yeah, it is important to me, obviously, being from here and trying to provide for the community, but more for our guys to just really preach, always finding different ways to give back and serve other people. And then on the flip side, when you get served, to show gratitude profusely. So those are two, again, going back to culture stuff that we're trying to put into our program and make sure it becomes a staple of our program. And it's not just about basketball, but it's about giving and showing gratitude.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I was saying, I think everything that we've seen, you inherited a strong culture, and you've made it even stronger since taking over this year. So congratulations. Marcus, you know, your comments about HPU sports, has any team surprised you? Really, you know, kind of something that stood out, and, you know, wow, I didn't expect them to be this good this year, or something that's really kind of taken you by surprise that you've seen so far through the school year?
I think with like men's basketball, definitely. Not that I didn't think they were gonna be good, but I just how good they are. Like, you know, exceed the expectations. Like how they're talking about earlier. There's not really a way to describe the philosophy, like the play style of this team, because I feel like they can beat you in so many ways. And you know, a lot of teams in our conference, you know, you have one or two good guys that are like, you know, carry the front load for their team, but I feel like, you know, every single game it's a combination of one or two like different people on the team stepping up and playing their hearts out. And so it's really cool just to see. I think they've gone through like so much adversity in such little time as a team, and the way they respond like each game after, I mean, whether it be, you know, stuff happening off the field or it's stuff that happens on the court, I think it's a real testament to what this team is capable of. And you know, that stuff's hard, and like usually it takes like a couple of years to build that kind of fortitude in the team. And so definitely really impressed by, you know, Jesse and his staff for, you know, like, you know, a coaching change is a very hard thing to, you know, transition from, and to be able to you know, seamlessly and then also instill your culture in that first year and like with success is a very impressive thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
You know, Marcus, I just to build off of your point a little bit, I don't think you're the only one that's surprised. Obviously, in the preseason poll, the men's basketball team was selected to finish 9th out of 11 teams in the Pac West. And Coach, I'm curious about how that sat inside your guys' locker room. You know, obviously you returned a bunch of pieces from last year, added a bunch of new pieces, and obviously it's your first year at the helm. As you've now gone through about 15 games, and you look back at that silly little preseason poll, I know coaches all the time, they talk about how, you know, preseason polls don't mean anything and you have to put in the work. Looking back at that now, did that cause any extra motivation of like, hey, we're being disrespected from the outside?
Mm-hmm. Well, we did address it a little bit in the preseason, but, you know, biggest point was we create our own narrative. And I don't know, you guys answered to that, create a little chip for you, and it did a little bit for me, I will say, but I didn't share that.
It was just a little bit of extra motivation that we needed. But no, in all seriousness, no, it was actual motivation. We took it as disrespect and took it as them not respecting all the hard work we were putting in, and we took it as they were overlooking us. So just extra motivation, honestly.
Yeah, because like the game is won between the four lines, not what people think and people that don't know us, the work we put in, the commitment that we have. So it was a little bit of motivation, but we expect greatness and nothing short of that.
Yeah, well, it certainly seems like the critics, so to speak, did not analyze the team composition this year thoroughly, because, man, with such a strong inside-out game and the chemistry that you guys have, you're going to be a tough team to beat from here on out. No doubt about it.
And then in that same preseason poll, just because we have it up, you know, I may as well say it, Chaminade was selected to finish 6th in that. Chaminade obviously has struggled so far this season, 6-13. They struggled through a tough start to the year with the Maui Invitational, some tougher opponents. So take those 3 games out, puts them at 6-10. But another opportunity tonight for the Sharks now to show off if they really are the cream of the crop here in the Pac West. And if you want to listen to that, you can catch that here on our airwaves, 95.1 FM, AM 760, and streaming on HawaiiSportsRadio.com. We have both the men's and the women's games tonight, 5:30 and 7:30, your tip-off times.
Very nice plug, Paul. Much appreciated. No, it's definitely going to be fun, and for basketball fans out there here on the island, I would highly encourage you to come out, come to the Shark Tank and support the team in the home games. You're going to see some top-notch basketball. All right, we are going to take our last break for today's show, and then we're going to come back. We're going to take a look ahead at what's happening in the coming week with our sports information director, Mr. Marcus DeWall. I am your host, Jeff Rich. You're listening to Sharks Weekly, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
And we are back. We are here in studio on a beautiful Thursday morning on the amazing campus of Hawaii Pacific University at Aloha Tower Marketplace. We are broadcasting from the Esports Arena, powered by DSE Hawaii. Marcus, so you gave us a great recap of happenings over the last week. What should we be looking forward to, aside from the big game with Chaminade tonight? What else is happening in the coming week with HPU Sports?
Yeah, so, our women's basketball team also plays tonight, and, they made some additions over the break. They got transferred Tiana Holland from College Sequoias, where Coach Ray Alvarado came from. And then we also got the return of Allison Ross to the team. Interesting thing about Allison, she did a semester at sea.
And semester at sea?
Yeah. And I remember Ray mentioning, he's like, oh, yeah, she's been practicing. I'm like, on what? Like, she's on a boat. But
now, is that your...
Yeah.
So I don't know much about.
She traveled around
out for an entire semester on a boat.
She traveled around the world and everything.
Wow.
And then first came back, I'm like, okay, she practiced, this whole semester, but then she drops 27 points her first game back, and I was like, all right, she practiced.
So does that mean that envisioning is sometimes as good a practice as actually getting on the court and playing?
No, I think there's a legit hoop on that boat. I need to look up the map of the boat, but apparently it worked because she scored 27, and so hopefully a 30-piece tonight would be kind of sick.
Wow.
Especially against Chaminade. And then this Saturday we got home game at Hilo. Against Hilo, and that's gonna be a fun time. Both our programs, island rivals, and then so we have a special giveaway if Jesse wants to talk about that.
Yeah, let's. Coach, you got a fun event for a very good cause happening Saturday. Tell us a little bit about it. It's the game against Hilo at the Shark Tank.
Yeah, we got one step back. This is a big stretch for us, both for obviously in the Pac West race, but also with events we have going on at the Shark Tank. We got 4 games in 8 days. That's a tough stretch, and it's going to really propel us in the standings, we hope. But yeah, we're obviously at Chaminade, and then really big day on Saturday. That's one close to dear to my heart and our heart. On Saturday we host Hilo, but also have our Cam's Helmet game. So Cameron Steinhoff was a former player of ours. And way back in 2011, he had a tragic accident and unfortunately didn't make it. He had a skateboarding accident. So since then, every year for 13 years, we've held a game in his honor, and we give out helmets to kids. So we've had a ton of kids show up to this, families and kids, and at halftime they all receive a helmet, and Cam's family is there to help fit them. And we're very fortunate and had Levitt, Yamana, and Soldner jump into the cause and sponsor the helmets, along with TNT Tinting, who Sean Steinhoff, Cameron's father, works for. They came in and donated helmets as well. So yeah, we always get excited for this game, and it helps bring people into the Shark Tank supporting us, but more importantly, if we can save one life through one helmet, it's worth everything.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And that game is 2 o'clock this Saturday at the Shark Tank. And, please come out and support the event and see some amazing basketball while you're at it. Yeah, it's a different era. I remember, when I was growing up, kids went out. You didn't wear bike helmets, skateboarding helmets. Parents just threw you in the car, no seat belts. Right. Different era. Certainly wouldn't see that today. But, somehow we all survived. But not smart things to do, You got to take precautions for sure. That's a great cause. Paul, you guys are going to be covering the game?
Yes, sir. We'll have both that. So if you can't make your way out, which, once again, I cannot recommend enough making your way to the Shark Tank, if not for this game, for another, but especially for Cam's Helmets game. That one is super special. We will have that one on HSRN 95.1 FM, AM 760, and HawaiiSportsRadio.com as well. So I'll be there as well. Maybe I should take some advice. Our Ku'ule Agbayani tells me I should be wearing a helmet much more than I do as well.
You're a mopeder, right? You've got a moped, Paul?
Yes. So
no moped helmet.
Don't listen to me, kids. Listen to Coach Knock and wear a helmet. It is far safer.
Coach, do you have a helmet for Paul Saturday?
I actually do. I've got a special moped one with your initials on them, Paul. And then I'd like to add in, Jeff, on Tuesday it's going to be a real special day. We've got a big-time opponent, Azusa Pacific, but We went out of the box a little bit, and, we do this mentorship program with Manoa and Noelani Elementary, so those principals have been awesome working with. We go there monthly, but part of the deal, if you will, is we created a field trip game. So we moved our weekday game on Tuesday to 12 o'clock, and I want to thank Azusa for being willing to do that. But the two principals are going to bus their kids in, so we'll have about 400 screaming kids at 12 o'clock noon, but we'll have plenty of seats available if the community wants to come in and take that game in as well. Maybe take a lunch break and come see the game, or play hooky from work.
There you go.
We'll be there at 12.
I can't think of a better reason to play hooky from work. It's always a good
We will
reason.
also have the Azusa Pacific game if you are unable to play hooky and you want to hear all of those screaming kids, because, like Coach said, another super fun day inside the Shark Tank. Super big stretch coming up for the Sharks.
Yep, it's a great atmosphere to watch a game for sure. Well, guys, I know we're talking basketball, but if we depart for a moment, we got some NFL games happening this weekend. Anybody have a team they're particularly rooting for?
Sore spot over here.
Let's hear it.
I was having a good weekend. Woke up Sunday morning, happy about our W against Dominican on Saturday, expecting another W from the Cowboys. But then I happened to turn off the game when halftime came on, because I was like...
It was over by halftime, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 28-6 or something. I don't know. I had enough of it, so I turned off the game and did something else. But
Well, the big news today or yesterday, Jerry Jones gonna retain Mike McCarthy for at least another season.
How do you feel about that?
That's not my guy. I was hoping for Bill Belichick, but
Not Harbaugh?
no, Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is the guy I wanted, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens next season. Hopefully we get more pieces, but yeah.
Wow, talk about being disrespected. I mean, Belichick, I hate the guy because I'm a Bills fan, so we, get pummeled by the Patriots for, a decade. But, you can't argue with his accomplishments. And it reminds me a lot of what happened to Tom Landry when, he left the Cowboys after, 20-plus years of amazing success, and he just gets kind of thrown out by new ownership. Yeah. What about you, Diggy? You a football fan? You rooting for anybody this weekend?
My team, unfortunately, is out. I'm a Raiders fan.
Oh, okay.
That's why I recruited him.
Yeah.
Both Raiders fans.
It's another tough year, but we're still building. But I'm just looking forward to, good football.
Yeah.
A lot of upsets. Obviously the Cowboys and the Eagles are done, but it's pretty interesting. Looking forward to see.
Yep.
So wait a second. If you're a Raiders fan, both of you, who do you want to be the head coach? Is it as easy as AP retained, or do you want somebody else?
I would keep him. Give him a chance. The biggest thing is he's got the locker room won over.
Yeah,
so
players want to play for him.
Playing. Yeah.
Spoken like a true coach. I won the locker room over,
Yep. Jesse, who's your team? Anybody left?
It's the Raiders.
You're
Two of
Raiders
us are
too.
the Raiders,
Okay, so both
unfortunately.
Raiders. I'm sorry. Marcus, who are you watching?
Raiders.
Raiders.
Raiders
Man, we
too.
got a
Yeah,
table of
yeah.
silver and black here.
Yeah, but
Jeez.
we need a quarterback. Okay, so Mark Davis, if you're somehow watching this, get us a quarterback, because it can't be having.
If only we could have got Caleb Williams in there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a couple trades. Who's got the number one pick? Bears,
Bears.
right?
Bears, the
Okay.
Are Bears going to keep Fields? You think?
I think
so,
our
but
Ku'ule
you are a Raider.
Agbayani would be happy to tell you that the Bears will be keeping that pick.
How do you
One
not draft him now?
One last question from my end for the two players. We brought it up at the start of this segment, a little bit of visualization with Allison Ross and being on the trip. Do either of you guys visualize much before games? Is that something that you use or no?
Not really.
Me personally, I do. I like putting myself in situations before the game and just seeing myself how I would do. But I think for me, mental preparation is a big key.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think visualization is an important part of preparing for anything, whether it's sports, whether it's your professional work, really thinking deeply about what you're trying to accomplish, envisioning that success and how to get there, and I think that greatly increases your odds. I'm going to just finish on the football note, and I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan who lived in Minnesota for 20-plus years, so I have 8 Super Bowl losses between my two favorite teams. So I'm really hoping for a Bills victory. Excited to see the Bills hopefully take it to the Chiefs this weekend. Finally, a game in Buffalo instead of visiting Kansas City every year. So go Josh Allen, go Bills, and let's see some good games this weekend. And go Sharks, for sure. Well, I want to thank everybody. Our in-studio guests today, Melo and Diggy, thank you so much, and best of luck through the season. Jesse, you're doing an amazing job taking over a strong program and making it even stronger. So keep it rolling. Go Sharks, and we will talk to you all next week on Sharks Weekly. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks for having us.